welcome to the Nobody Asked Me Guys show. Guys, this evening we are going to be talking to none other than Mr. Ross Slacks. He's the director of the Northeast Louisiana Delta African American Museum. We're going to be talking about the importance of the not only that museum itself, but the importance of African American museums as a whole. Brother Slacks has a special treat for us as we're discussing the museum. He'll be showing us different pieces of art. He has some actual artists there on site that also be sharing with us. So we just want you guys to sit back and relax for about 30 minutes or so, and we're going to be talking to Brother Ross Slacks. The Northeast Louisiana Delta African American History Museum is located in Monroe or West Monroe. Our Brother Slacks will clear me up on that. But Brother Slack, good evening. Great to have you, sir.
Good evening. Nice to see you again.
Well, listen, the pleasure is always mine, and we're just so happy that you've taken time to share with us on the Nobody Asked Me Guys show and to talk about the Northeast Louisiana Delta African American Heritage Museum, and you've been diligent enough to even have some live artists right there with you, and in the persons of Brother Darryl Tripp and Don Cincone, who's a world-renowned artist, and we're just very excited that you're here. Now, if you will, if you tell us a little bit about Brother Ross Slacks and what you do besides and with the museum.
Okay, hi. My name is Ross Slacks. I'm the executive of the museum, and I am here now with a couple of artists. They're trying to get on, as a matter of fact, right now. Don Cincone and Darryl Tripp. But we've been here at this facility for about 6 years now. We started out almost as a matter of fact, 25 years ago this year. And we started out in what I call a shotgun house, but it's a double barrel shotgun house. And we were fortunate enough to move from there to here. So we've gone a tremendous way in such a short time, but we thank God for it. And as I'm talking to you, I just wanted to show you the outside of the building here so you'll get a good look at it. And
okay.
You see they're right there, and you see Don Cincone. But this is a fantastic facility we have.
Yes, it is.
23 acres, and we're very proud. It's not only a museum, but it's also an educational facility. We also hold events here. We have a fully functioning kitchen. I'm hoping to show you some of these things as we go on.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, listen, I'm certainly excited that you're here. And as we talk about the African American Museum there in Monroe, is it Monroe or West Monroe?
We're in Monroe, Louisiana, located in Chenal Park.
Okay, the one that's located at
Chenal Park is we have somebody joining now. We have our joining, but we'll be in Chenal Park is located almost across from the mall. This was also a long time ago to be part of a plantation. But now it is now a park area and soccer field area, and we also have our facility located here.
Fantastic. I see our two wonderful artists have joined us on the scene. I see Dr. Cincone and Brother Darryl Tripp. Welcome, brothers.
How's it going?
Hey, listen, it's going great. Listen, Brother Slacks, if you will, just kind of share with our audience a little bit about the importance of having a museum designated to the African American, if I could say, diaspora. Will you share a little bit with us about the importance of that?
Well, first of all, like the old saying goes that if you don't know where you've been, you don't. We like to do is instill the history of the African American effect, not only just about the where we come from, but the things that we did along the way, develop, and to show that we are people who have a lot of ingenuity. What we see on TV is not what we really are. We're not just athletes and musicians, but we're a lot of other things. And so what we like to do here is show the contributions of Africa in this field, for we are very rich in history and tradition that a lot of people don't know about, and we try to instill do fantastic things just like their forefathers.
Absolutely.
I think they're going through the museum now. As you look at, I think Triplett is going to one of his places. But I'm going to give you a quick synopsis. When we first come in here, this is our orientation room. And what I like to do here is I like to bring everybody in and tell them about our contemporaries in this area. For in this area, the first thing I talk about is the person whose idea or vision this was, and her name was Nancy Johnson. Nancy Johnson's vision was over 25 years ago to start an African American museum. Unfortunately, she passed before this building was ever built and conceived, but she had other visions. And we like to give her the credit for this. And as we go on and we see another painting, this is
condolences.
Actually built the museum. This was her best friend, Lorraine Slack. She happened to be my mother who passed last year. And it was her vision to build this museum. This is a painting by Don Cincone. As you can tell, his paintings are unique. But she is the instrumental focus of this museum. We also talk about all of the other people over here. As you can see on this wall here, we also have our two mayors, two African American mayors since Reconstruction that we have here, and they were both instrumental. One donated the land and one donated money for us to have this facility. This facility costs over $4 million. It's completely paid for. So all we depend on now is for the contributions of others to survive. And so you can see during this room, this is the orientation room. And as I
yes,
go
sir,
to
Brother
Triplett,
we can see it.
Okay, I can't see it. Can you see this painting behind me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, because I can't see it from my angle. But anyway, this is actually one of the oldest plantations that my grandparents lived on in Tensas Parish in northern Louisiana. It is called the what is it? I want to say that the Tensas.
It's Tensas.
It's Tensas, right? And I know that's the name of the parish. Yes, but this is the plantation. This is the plantation in which my grandparents grew up in, right along the Mississippi River and the Tensas River. The only thing that's available right now that's still in this place is this tree. But from my understanding, what I was told, there were over 300 slaves on this plantation. And it made a whole lot of money for North Louisiana off the cotton industry. You can tell in the background, you see the cotton fields, the whole barn right here with the cows and the outhouse and the chicken coop. And my grandmother had a lot of chicken and animals around us. And I was too young to remember. I think the last time I was actually visiting this property, I was probably about 5 or 6 years old. But I do remember this pump and chickens everywhere. I was scared of those dogs and all that kind of stuff. But this is what it looked like for what I remember and what I.
Okay. All right, and he's in what we call the exhibit room A. We're having a small but this is a lot of painting. It's his and Bernard Manyweather's paintings. One of the ones I was really I'm really interested in is this one here, right quick, before we go further. It's called Louisiana, the state we're in. And a lot of the kids love that because you have plenty of shapes of Louisiana hidden in this picture. You can probably see one in the water, the large one, but there are plenty others there. There's even one in the sky, there's floating debris. But this is a pattern of his paintings that he did during a period in which a lot of the paintings here have pictures of images of Louisiana in them. And the kids are real fond of going by each one of those paintings. And it gives them an idea to stand back and study and look at paintings. So we really enjoy
that's a phenomenal painting.
Yeah, it is. But this room, as we walk on to the next room, I'm gonna ask, and if you, excuse me, if you turn that picture around, you know how to turn it? The camera, right up here. Yeah, you turn it around, you won't have no problem. Okay, so as I go on out of here, I'm gonna room. Artifacts that we have in this room. And feel free
Well, you know what? I'm just in awe of the museum, and I just want you gentlemen to share the work and show it so that our listening audience and our viewing audience will know what it has to offer.
Is we are, this is our gift shop. I'll show this to you right here.
Okay, Brother Ross, I think I've lost your voice, and if we can have one of our artists maybe show us one of their paintings while you are getting to the other room, that would certainly be helpful.
There you go, Trip. Triplet is coming on with one of his paintings now.
Okay.
Okay. Ooh, that light.
We have various items.
Okay, can you see that piece in the background?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
This is September 11, 2001, a representation of that tragedy we had back at the World Trade Centers. I painted this piece back then. This is one of the ones that get a lot of attention from the museum. This was on display September 11, 2019, at a function that was hosted here at the museum. And a whole lot of stuff is going on in this painting. You see the World Trade Centers here, the planes coming through. If you really look closely, you see an eagle in the background.
Yes.
Right here, with an eagle eye. And you see a teardrop coming from that eagle's eye.
Okay.
And you see this thing that looks like a lens.
Interesting.
And down at the bottom, you see here, this is the Statue of Liberty. Even though it was a dark day in this country, it still was lit up in our spirits. And if you really look and you see the hands at the bottom, this piece is called The Hands of God, and it's a part of a series of 3 paintings that I did based on September 11th. And it was a global event. Of course, the whole world was affected by this. And despite of all of that madness and destruction and death, it still is in God's hands, and there's a brighter day that's coming. So that's basically what this piece represents.
Beautiful thought. Beautiful thought.
Yes, sir. If you look at the back, you see some stuff with a lot of colors. That's represents the old neighborhood in New Orleans in which I grew up, right here. So you see a lot of colorful stuff with Mardi Gras and the festive, the second line, that traditional New Orleans dance. And this was actually a part of a neighborhood called Pigeon Town, Uptown New Orleans. And this fiddle station right here was the Johnson Fiddle Station. And it was actually one of a few Black-owned businesses back in the 1960s and 70s. And my parents' house is right next to this place. I'm sorry that light is kind of affecting it, but this is the house which I grew up in. And this represents my family portrait right here with my sisters and brothers. And this is supposed to be me right here on a skateboard, which we had to make out of wood ourselves. My mom and dad on the porch. Mom smoked a pipe and dad liked to eat watermelon after he got home from church as well as from work. But my other brothers were musicians, and my sisters, and they all like to skate and that kind of thing. But this represents that neighborhood. And this is a series of second line paintings and a family portrait.
Wow. Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful. That's that's some very, very colorful and very interesting autobiography of a family.
Yes, yes.
Okay, I think Brother Ross is maybe frozen at this time. So if Dr. Cincone or you want to talk more about your paintings, please feel free. We're waiting on Brother Ross to to come back and join us?
Okay, well, this is the second painting of the series in the Hands of God series from September 11th. This represents the Pentagon and where that
I don't know what's
plane
going
went
on
into
here.
inside of that building. It caused so much destruction.
Yes, go right
So you
ahead.
see, can you see that piece?
Yes, I see it. I see the fingers are behind the pentagon shape. Yes, I do.
Right. Yeah, those
I
are the
got
hands
you.
of God. Yeah. And I also did a rendition, an abstract piece of Flight 93, where that plane went down in Shakespeare, Pennsylvania. Unfortunately, I don't have that piece here tonight, but it goes along with those two pieces that I just showed you. And it's a part of the Hands of God series. And I
Okay.
think, and I'm going to move forward and let Don talk about a few of his pieces
Am I?
right over here. I think Mr. Ross is back on here.
Okay, Brother Ross, please continue.
I believe. I believe. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, as we
Please
go through
continue.
here, and so it's going to be a little. This is the throne work. It's, as you see, it's quite large, and we have a couple of items here. Of she was the first millionaire, a black female millionaire, and she came right from this area. We also have some other ones here. We have Mary Bethune-Cookman, who started Bethune-Cookman College. Cinconia has a painting of her. I think it's called 50 Cent Fate. I think we have that here with us today, and I get to show you this. And of course, we all know who this is, Frederick Douglass. And we had these mannequins built for us over 20 years ago, and they're still holding up well. The kids love to see them. And so this is one of the things. We also have artifacts of the first funeral home when it started, and this is the first desk that they had in their office. It's an original roll top desk rather, and it's still in very good shape. We also have artifacts about kitchenware and the kind of things we used back in those days. You know, a lot of kids don't even realize what these are, cheese graters and flour sifters. But these are the things that we had to use that we certainly could use a lot of today because they made better cakes then with flour sifters than we do now. One of the things I like what we did with music, this is our little music area, and invariably every time I bring the kids here, and they pick one of these up, they say this is one of the world's largest CDs because they have no idea what these are. But these record players still play, and so they get a chance to hear the music on the record player, and they're quite amazed that you can take a needle and make music out of it.
Yeah.
So these are some of the things we like to show them at this particular time.
Wow.
As we go on, this is Don Cinconi's here, where we're looking at. We have a couple of paintings. I think the last painting we did in the last we talked about was this painting right here. But as you can see, these are things right on one of them. Sure. This one becomes about Mary Bethune.
And I call this painting was, of
Okay, Brother Tripp, I don't know if Brother Sincone, Brother Ross can hear me or not, but if you can move over with your phone, Brother Ross' phone is kind of freezing up, and we can't hear Dr. Sincone.
Okay, let me slide over here by them.
Okay.
All right. Okay, can you see us now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There we go. There we go.
Okay.
Okay, this is Dr. Mary Cloud Bethune, and we call this painting $1.50 Faith because the story is that that's the amount of money that she had when she started what we now know as the great University of Bethune-Cookman College in Florida. The people that you see behind her were railroad workers, and those were the men and their families that contributed on a regular basis to her to continue her venture in establishing this great school that's there now in Florida.
Well, that's great. Can you raise your camera up a little bit? It's so we can see the full. There you, yeah, a little bit more. There, yeah, a little bit more. There you go. Okay, thank you.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's
okay.
Okay, what we're gonna do, since his phone is working, because his phone is working better, we kind of swap phones here, and we'll just swap phones from there.
okay.
All
Okay.
right. So as you can see, his sculpture, he does have a couple of one of the sculptures are here also. If I can, you can see it.
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah, but he has a sculpture, and I was trying to get it to reverse. Okay, here we go. Well, I can't get it to reverse, but anyway, we'll go on to the next part, and I'll show you the rest of the museum. Not only do we have a lot of artifacts that you could probably see right here, but we have these artifacts are like milk crates and different things that people used, and we also have one here, and I can hold so you can see. A lot of people don't understand cotton, but when you pick cotton, you pick it up in a sack. This sack is as tall as I use.
Okay. Right now, for our audience, the cameras, the telephone is frozen. So we just want to say to you guys just to hang with us a little bit longer. We're having a very interesting conversation with Brother Ross Slacks and the African American Museum in Monroe, Louisiana, and they are sure he has two professional artists there with him. One in the person of Don Sincone, and other in the person of Darryl Triplett. And they're not only talking about the artifacts that are located there in the museum, they are the beautiful portraits that are painted by Don Sincone and Darryl Triplett and others. So we're working for them to return, and we want to continue to give you a tour of the museum because there's so many wonderful things to see in that African American Museum. And Brother Ross will give you personal tours when you make your trip there in Monroe, Louisiana, over that museum. I know some of you saw the wax figures that were there of Mary McLeod Bethune and Frederick Douglass and some of the others. So we just okay, Brother Triplett, looks like you've returned. Brother Darryl, I'm sorry, Brother Ross, like you've returned, sir. Please continue.
Apparently, in that area we can't go in. It's kind of far out, but we do have Also, we have a kitchen area, a fully functioning kitchen area. We have a bistro with a patio. We also have an art room. I'm going to take a chance and go into the art room so you can see the beautiful artwork in which we will be having a bunch of classes, not only taught by students, but also by the two artists that you saw here today. It is a very lively room, and it is one of my favorites. The art students in ULM did this room, as you can see, hopefully. All right, here we go. That is the art room.
Okay.
So this is our art room, and this is what we use. And by the way, as you can see, we have a bunch of typewriters here, and I'll make sure that I tell kids that the typewriter was invented by a Black person.
Yes.
We need to know these kind of things. We have, like I say, we have a pamphlet that tells about all of the historical things that we've done as Black people. And it not only are a lot of these things been mentioned as if we have not invented it, but we have the actual patents to show that we did invent those things.
Yes.
Such thing as the everyday item that's just like the everyday toilet, the horseshoe, the curtain rod. All of these different things we invented. And there are a lot of things, the dialysis machine. All of these things were invented by Black people, the stoplight. And we like people to know that we're not just the kind of people who just play sports and do music, but we have made the world a better place by our inventions.
Yeah.
And so I like people to see these different things.
Fantastic.
So maybe I can get over here again. Maybe that I've got this down straight, I can show you the other part of the museum. And this is the sculpture I was talking about Don Cincone. I like the humanity in it because it shows the Black family breaking the chains of slavery.
Wow.
And as you see, the man holding his hands up, breaking the chain, and the female to your left. And what I like about it shows the humanity of it because her head is leaning on his chest.
Okay.
And then you have a child also clinging to him. And it is all made in circles to signify the unbroken circle of the family unit. So I think this is a very beautiful sculpture that he's also done.
Absolutely.
We also have a lot of artifacts that were spirited out of Africa in certain parts of Africa that we can't even go into now. But these are some of the parts right here. Of course, you see some of the to drink water out of. Some of the faces you see here are made with turtle shells and different things. We have butter churns and different things. Another interesting thing that we had that a lot of people don't recognize is this, called a bucket. It doesn't look like a bucket, but it actually is. And when it draws water, I don't know, the wheels were not large like you see small holes, but it made them elongated and it had a little lever at the bottom and that lets the water out. And so these are all of the things that were made by our, just in case you didn't get to see the actual length of it. That is the actual length of the cotton sacks there. We also have the lawnmower. You know, the lawnmower was also invented by a Black man. So we have those.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the other room we have is, what I want to show is our bistro room. Room right here, this is our bistro room. So we have small gatherings. It has a patio. And back right beyond that is our commercial kitchen. So we're ready to just about host anything here. Or we like to have a lot of conventions here, a lot of religious shows, but we get a whole lot of baby showers for some reason. So maybe it makes them happy to come here. I think
great.
The last thing I'd like to show you over here is our African motif that we've got, came from Africa. It was donated to us, and then we call this the seat of civilization, because what we want to do is try to show people that our historic roots came from Africa, and it was separated by the Nile River, and you had one group on one side and one group on the other side because of this fertile crescent. But what it also did, it also brought people together. That's where the first states were formed, because they had to survive, even though they're on different sides of the continent. And so this is what we call this the seat of civilization.
Okay, very interesting.
So I think that's all I have to show you. Are there any
Okay,
other
well, listen,
questions?
brother. Well, as you share that, I am interested, brother Slacks. Is the museum visited primarily by people of color, or do our less melanated brothers ever venture in to learn a little more history?
Oh yeah, I would say 75% African American, and the rest are the other color, right? Perception.
Okay,
Uh,
okay.
we have a lot of people who are very interested in African American art, especially among the white people in this area. They get a lot of our African American art from these two artists.
Oh, that's wonderful. That is wonderful. Well, listen, as we talk about these two artists, I think some of our viewers, well, I see tons of again, I love to see the hearts going up. I love to see the thumbs up going up. That means that they're enjoying our show. And
Right.
we want to introduce them, if you will, as you're talking about having some of the artists there physically with you. We want to introduce them to a visionary brainstorming that was conducted that has been now appropriately named Shackle 400s. And I also want to share with our viewing audience that there is a very brilliant young man by the name of Ross Slacks that also loaned his statement when he said, very brilliantly, I might add, that we are America's unintended ambassadors. And I don't think a lot of people actually ever thought about it. I will go on record as saying that I never thought about that. When Brother Slacks brought that to my attention, I thought, wow, that is really a powerful statement. And it's really a very strong statement because that's exactly what's happening. So, Brother Ross, if you don't mind, if you just kind of share with us a little bit about Shackles 400, about your visionary idea of African Americans in these United States being ambassadors, unintended ambassadors, if you will.
Of course, the Shackles 400 group consists of, as you know, besides you and I, Dale Triplett and Don Cincone. And we came up with the idea to let the public be aware of what happened 400 years ago and had resonates through our lives today. Because from those few people that came to Africa in those days, we have a lot of things that go, our music, our culture, our food, everything, those struggles that they did. And even though they struggled and they were one woman, they were not slaves, they just were people who loved. And that came an attitude of persevere the things that we do in today's society. And that's what we try to understand that.
Okay, Brother Ross, I don't know if you can hear me or not, but we lost you. So you must have walked into another part of the museum where you have poor reception. However, guys, as we await for Brother Ross to return to share with us more about Shackles 400, Don Cincone is and Darryl Triplett are the actual artist that do the paintings. Brother Ross is the director of the Northeast Louisiana Director, Delta African American History Museum. So, okay, it looks like Brother Ross has returned. So please continue.
I'm going to try real quickly so we can end this. I know we're having a lot of technical problems, but to be an unintentional ambassador is when we were brought over here against our will and we became servants and slaves to those people. Nobody thought that we would have a positive outlook on what's happening in America today. But if you look at us now, we're all over the world touting the benefits of being an American and the things that we do in America and the freedom that we enjoy. And it's because we were participants in every part from the beginning until up until now. So a lot of people didn't intend for us to be ambassadors, but that's what we became.
Absolutely. Hey, well put. With that, Brother Slacks, we want to thank you so very much for coming on and sharing with us. It's been very, very, very educational. And we want to thank also your colleagues, Brother Darrell Triplett, and of course, Dr. Don Cincone. There's nothing like having actual persons that do the work. With all the beautiful and very strong paintings that they have in the museum. We just want, and the thumbs are going up. Thank you, audience. The thumbs are going up. The hearts are going up. And I'm surprised no one is asking any questions. They normally ask questions, but I'm surprised. I guess they just enjoying the conversation. But we want to thank you for being here, Dr. Ross. We want to thank you for being here, Brother Triplett.
Thank you.
And we definitely want to thank Dr. Cincone for being here.
All right.
All right.
Now, if you will, I know you told us the address to the museum on the onset, but if you will reshare that, please, sir.
Okay. The address is 1051 Chenault Park Drive, Monroe, Louisiana.
We take
Okay.
donations.
Fantastic. So, ladies and gentlemen, we again want to thank you for joining us, and we apologize for our technical hiccups. As all of you guys know, with our telephones, with our computers, we will have these kind of hiccups. But listen, it does nothing to diminish the rich history of which we've discussed. So we want to bid you good night. We want to thank you guys very much for being here with us. We want to encourage you to come with us next Friday, 10:30 a.m. We will have none other than the Chancellor of Grambling State University, Dr. Rick Gallo, is going to be joining us Friday, 10:30 a.m. in the morning. So please come back and join us. He's going to be talking about Grambling. He's going to be talking about Grambling's tradition and the things that Grambling has to offer. Now, if you want to contact me, you can go to my YouTube site and look up the Nobody Asked Me guy, or you can go to my website, www.dyingonmyfeet.com. There you will find all of my social media information, etc. So as we bid you good night, again, Brother Ross Slacks, we are so very grateful for you joining us. Brother Darrell Triplett, we are so very grateful to you, sir.
Thank
and
you.
Dr. Don Cincone, we are grateful to you all, and we wish all of us, and listen, I do want to share with our audience, we will very soon have Shackles 400 t-shirts available, and possibly not long after that, we'll have the caps available as well. You will check the museum. Dr. Slack has already given you the address to the museum. Brother Triplett also will have them. So we want you guys to be sure to purchase these t-shirts and wear them proudly, purchase these hats and wear them proudly, and please go and visit the museum. For all of you that are local, for you that are traveling, don't hesitate to stop in Monroe, Louisiana and visit the museum. So thank you very much for joining the Nobody Asked Me guy show. I'm your host, Melvin Lars. Have a blessed and great evening.
Yes,
All right,
sir.
good
Thank
night.
you.